I think this would be a good opportunity to expound upon something I said in an interview with the China Daily. I noted in it that in my previous research I'd found that there is significant local level U.S. market penetration into the China export market over the past few decades. So here's what I was talking about in a little bit more detail. You see here in blue, Chinese exports to the U.S., and in red, U.S. exports to China. Now clearly, the U.S. buys more from China than China buys from the U.S., but let's just take a look at U.S. exports to China itself. With the exception of a few years, the trend is upward, and that warrants some special attention. Now, this brings me to export capacity in general, from the U.S. to China. First of all, at the federal level, the U.S. Department of Commerce has an impressive and very large staff of over 100 people all around China, in the embassy and in the U.S. consulates. They've carved out an incredible market niche. If you're a local U.S. exporter, you can go to the Foreign Commercial Service, and they can, through their network in China, match you to buyers. And that can be a sustainable new source of income for an American exporter. Now, that's just at the federal level. I noted in that China Daily article that in my previous research I've found that at the subnational level there's been a lot of new potential. Specifically, when I interviewed about 23 states about their export assistance efforts, I found that many American states, actually over 33, have China offices. That is, all around the world, they have export assistance offices set up in the target countries. Some of them, like Pennsylvania and Maryland, have been able to carve out a market niche for their local companies in China independently, relatively independently anyway, of federal government, of U.S. Department of Commerce resources. That is, as the U.S. Department of Commerce at the federal level is increasing its already large presence in China to help U.S. exports match what they're selling to buyers in China, that capacity is also increasing at the local level in the U.S. Now, often U.S. foreign trade offices at the local level will help match local sellers to trade associations in China and so forth, but also draw on federal networks. But some of these local level Chinese foreign trade offices that they've established have been so good at entering the market and finding a niche for their sellers that they're able to go it alone. And that's occurring all across the country. So even if the government procurement market doesn't open up, there are other forces at play. That is, Chinese consumers' pockets are getting deeper every year and more interested in Western luxury goods and goods of all different sorts. Goods that the U.S. is selling. And that subnational capacity is increasing. So when thinking about the future of U.S.-China economic relationship, think trade, think U.S. exports to China, and think multi-level.